Hi everyone, I'm Laura Langhoff-Arndt, and I am the author of the books The Art of Teaching Confirmation and The Art of Teaching Sunday School, and I'm working on a few others as well. I also have some workbooks and things like that you can find on Amazon, but that's not why I'm here. Due to our current health situation, many pastors are trying to do online worship, and it can be a struggle. There are many large congregations that have people dedicated to technology, but not everybody has that. I know that we don't, and so we have done some searching to see what we can do, and using very few resources. And I found one. I found something that works great. All you need is, as most families have, a computer, home Wi-Fi access, and a YouTube and Facebook account. That's it. So today I'm here to tell you how to create easy, very professional looking worship videos that you can stream live through Facebook or another source, or that you can record and upload as needed. So before we get started though, I do want to make sure that we talk about slides, because sometimes slides can be a challenge. So let us move on and look at those. So keep in mind that these are slides that are not going to be used across an entire worship venue. These are going to be used on TVs, computers, tablets, or phones. So you want to not actually make these really, really big things. You want to keep your font size between 18 and 28, depending on the font. You know, every once in a while you get a font that you put it up there and you're into, it's like about 44 point, and it still looks like it's 24. So, but be careful about that. Those fonts are probably not your best option. Also, you don't want to use more than 2 fonts per slide. Things can get really chaotic looking and hard to follow. So make sure that you don't have like 4 or 5 different fonts going on. There are standard fonts that you should probably use for reading. I use one of them here, Times Roman, and it's not that you have to use those, but you don't want to use anything that will be hard to read. Also, you want to be consistent about which fonts you use for which parts of the service. You don't want to, people get really comfortable when you are consistent, and then they know when they speak and when you speak, and if you are constantly switching the fonts, they think, do I have to do something different? So we don't want them to go there. Also, don't worry. I know some people are like, oh, look, the clouds are moving and all of that stuff. Don't worry about choosing moving pictures or GIFs or anything like that. Your goal is for people to focus on the words so that they can participate in the worship and not be distracted by moving pictures. So when you choose your pictures, you want to choose some that are primarily dark or light, because you want to choose a font that contrasts to that so they can be easily read. I've seen so many people who end up having a light picture and then the words are white and nobody can read them. So don't go there. Also, you want to choose, if you choose pictures with a lot of bright colors, then you're going to want to use a semi-transparent screen over them, and I will show you how to do that in just a moment. Here are some samples just that you can look at. This was our very first Palm Sunday attempt at worship. And this was my first slide. And my following slides, I used the palms. Now what you're going to see here is in the background, I have the semi-transparent screen for a very bright picture. Now I could have just used a transparent screen. Let me just delete that. And had the words up here so the picture was bright, but that just makes it harder to read. So when we use this semi-transparent screen over it, everything is a lot easier to read. The picture is not the most important part. Now also, you'll see that along here with the words, we can fill that with a color. Sometimes we could just make it plain white, and that's fine. People can still see the outside of the picture. But there are other things that we can do as well. For example, this is a picture that has green and yellow, and you can always choose white. So when I was testing things out, I tried a yellow background, and then I tried the one that I actually used. I didn't think white was perfect. I didn't think yellow was good at all. But when I tried the green, that was the winner. And so that's the one that I used. Here were my Good Friday slides. I just love this picture. It's just, I could just look at it forever. But these, you can see, they were very striking, and I used a black background. The white just looked terrible. Now, it's time for us to talk about music. We can find music that's a good quality but no lyrics, then we're going to have to create the lyrics. And if we have the music that is good quality or not so good quality but has lyrics, well, you're going to have to decide if it's worth it. So let's take a look at what's going on at YouTube. I found when I was looking for some things that Concordia Publishing House has some great music out there. And I'm sure they don't mind, especially for situations like this, if we use it for our worship services. I know they have this Easter music is great. I don't know that they have every song. You may be able to find some. You're just going to have to search and do your best. Now, we don't always look for something. Sometimes we use popular music. And we don't mind at all if there are a lot of people singing in the background, because a lot of our people don't want to just sit in their living rooms and sing by themselves. They're used to a lot of people around them. So here, this Jesus Christ is Risen Today, this is fantastic, but it doesn't have any words with it. So let me just take a little quick here, and we may hear a little bit of it. Oh, see, this is another problem. You get some ads. You hear that? It's fantastic. You can have, even if you're a small congregation in a situation like this, you can have the trumpets and the bell choir and everything else with you. What it doesn't have is lyrics. So you have to create your own lyrics. And that's exactly what I did. Here I had it. The choir verses were stunning. It was just a great thing all the way around. So when you search and you need to deal with, oh, those ads, I'm going to tell you a secret, and that is that you can download videos from YouTube. If you're going to use them for anything but a worship service, I think you need to get permission to use them. But you can download them. I use a program called YouTube Download. It says that it downloads to MP3, but I used it for all of my songs, and they downloaded to MP4. So, works really well. You might want to do that. Just download them. I put everything in a file that's called, I had files called Good Friday, Maundy Thursday, and Easter. And in that Easter file, I had videos and I had slides, 2 separate folders. And then I also had an organizational chart, which I'm going to show to you next. But in order to keep all of these things so that you can organize them when you use the OBS, you want everything together in the same place. What I do for my husband is I created a table, and I'm going to show it to you now. And this is what it looks like. And it's really important to be able to figure out what you want in your service. You'll notice over here we've got the pre-service, invocation, opening hymn, and the sermon hymn. You want to be that detailed so that you know which scenes you need, and you'll learn about those in just a minute. But you can have a pre-service music. You just want to know what your service is. So let's just say For at some point, like right now with our problems, you may have an offertory. You can even have somebody come into your church and do some special music and play that for an offertory, but you're most likely not going to get an offering. So you could either take that out and just delete that part of your service, or you can add something else in. It all depends on you. Some people are trying to do children's messages. Some people don't do all of the introit, the Kyrie. They don't do all of that. If you use the hymnal, you may just follow the hymnal, and that will work just fine. So the point is that you take each part of your service and you write it down so that then you can attach a scene to it. And we will talk about scenes in just a little bit. Now we're going to move on and we're going to start taking a look at OBS. It's called, again, Open Broadcaster Software. You don't need the parentheses. Let me take that one off if possible here. And it's at obsproject.com. And it's super quick to download and easy to use. When you pull it up, it will look something like this background right here. And scenes and sources are what we have to pay most attention to. Let's look at these most helpful OBS sources right now, because this is important. When we look at these, we have the first one is audio input capture. Now, sometimes people have, what I'm using right now is just my computer microphone, and I don't have anything special at all. It's just my computer audio input, and so that works for a lot of people. Sometimes that doesn't. If you need a microphone, you can spend time getting a microphone, or you can, where am I again here? I just got these headphones that have this really cool microphone attached to them, and this works really great. My stepson gave me one for Christmas, and so I bought a couple of them because I use them in multiple areas. So there's that. Back to this helpful screen. Now we've got, so that's the audio input capture. There are places where you want that. I have it on all the time. And what that means is that I have to be careful because anything that happens in the room around me, people can hear. So hopefully you haven't heard any strange sounds while I've been doing this. And the next one is a browser source. And a browser source will link you to something locally or through a website URL. And this is what you would use if you were going to link a video to YouTube or any other kind of YouTube site, where it would pull the video in, but it would be on that site. So anything that happens on that site, if it stops for a commercial or if there are commercials at the beginning, you're going to get all of that. So keep that in mind. You can add just an image. At the very beginning of this tutorial, I had an image of my website, and all you have to do is have that available. It'll take all of these different image formats. So that is an option. Then an image slideshow. Sometimes we use that for pre-service if you want to have a slideshow. Now, if you can upload the slides or you can run a slideshow. If you upload the slides, it works really slick. It is really slick, and it's random playback, or you can go down a list and it just does it for you. So it's super, super easy. Next is a media source, and I use that one for our music because it's really consistent. If you can download your file, your music file from YouTube, then it comes in very handy. There are no commercials. You play it really, it's smooth. It's smooth, my friends. And so that's the one that I am going to do probably always. But you can decide if you need something to loop, or media source is just really, really versatile. So go ahead and check that out. We'll be using that. You'll see how to do that. The next is the video capture device, and that is your computer's camera or another webcam. You can have multiple sources and choose which one you want to use, but remember, the more complicated you make it, the more complicated it will be to run. And then there's window capture, and that's what I use to capture. It captures any window. You will tell it where to find it, and that's where it captures all of my slides. Let's look first then at OBS. Now this is really cool. Ignore the tunneling here. It's taking a picture of a picture of a picture, so it's confused. But it's the only way that I can take care of this. So what I want to do is introduce you to all of the control type things. Here are controls where we can start streaming, start recording. You can do both at the same time. Studio mode, that looks like this. Woo! And this is the program. That's what people are seeing. And this is the preview. So I could say, here is the worship table. And this is what you see. But next, transition. See, now you see the worship table. So let's go back and look at these options. I don't really like the studio mode. So we'll look at this. Then we have settings. And you can look at settings if you want to, but there's not too much that I have changed here, and everything has worked really quite well. So I would just leave it the way it is. We will, when we come to streaming, we will need to get a stream key if we do it on Facebook. Here you can use Facebook, YouTube. I mean, look at all of the different places that you can stream live. We've been doing Facebook Live. I haven't worried about any of the rest of these, and everything's been working fine. Sometimes I feel like where technology is concerned, if it works, let it work. Okay, what is next? The audio mixer. Let's look at the audio mixer. Here, I could leave it on worship table, or just me while I look at these things. No, worship table. Okay. So while we look at our audio mixer, we can see we have a microphone. That's what you're hearing right now. There's also desktop audio. That doesn't always come on. It depends on your computer. I have that muted, so anything from the desktop does not make any sound. When we add videos, you will see that it will add another level. We have scene transitions. I just let them go ahead and do what they do. It works for me. Why mess with it if I have time? You know, there are things here that just take more time, and I don't have more time. Then we have our sources, and we have our scenes. And when we're talking about our scenes, you see I have just me. Looks like this. Woo-hoo. Then we have the worship table, which you've seen. Then we have OBS, which is all of this. And then we have the OBS close, which is what I call it, because we're going to look at these a little bit close up, and hopefully they will help. But you can see here, I have just me in the worship table, OBS and OBS close. And then if you click on each one, if I click on OBS, it's going to switch back to OBS. So you won't be able to see me move from one to the other. But we're going to get started, and this whole recording is going to go really quickly. So I'm going to try and not go too fast. If you need to pause, be sure that you pause. Now, looking back at our table, the first one we need is pre-service, and those are going to be slides. So we're going to add pre-service, pre-service, and hit OK. And it says, where do you want me to get these things? So I'm going to say this is going to be an image slideshow. And there's nothing that already exists, so I'm going to call this a pre-service slideshow. And I don't need to tell it it's images. And then I hit OK. And you see, all you're looking at here is details. It's going to automatically fade, automatically move them. It says always play even when not visible. You could also tell it to stop when not visible or pause when not visible. But this is pre-service. I just want it to run. And I want it to loop, go as many times as it needs to. The one thing you might want to adjust is this time between slides. It looks like a lot at 8,000, but it's milliseconds. So you got to remember that. You can change that if you want and play with it and see what happens. Sometimes there's not enough time for people to read the announcements, so you want to make it a little bit longer. All of the rest I left alone, and it works just fine. I don't need it to randomize the playback. Just play them in a line. Okay, now this is the one where you have to scroll down because it says image files, and you want to add your image files. This is the best way to do it. I'm going to add files, and I am going to go to Documents, Worship, real fast. Palm Sunday we had a pre-service. I'm just going to grab a couple of these, and you'll see them load. Excellent. And then just hit OK. Oh no, look, it seems a little bit crazy. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click and you're going to find transform and then fit to screen, and everything will be grand. And it will. We'll watch it. I'm waiting, and it turns. See, so it's okay. So we don't need any sound here. We don't need anything. We just need the slides to show. So that one is done. And all right, our next scene is going to be Pastor. And that is, we're going to hit OK and add a video capture device. Now, there is a video capture device on my computer, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And guess what? There I am. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Oh wait, this is just the pastor. I'm not going to make it smaller. I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to go back over to transform and fit to screen, and whoa, there I am. I don't think this is my best side. Let's add another one quick. Scene 2, we're going to do pastor and slides. Okay, now this one, again, we're going to do the same thing. We need the video capture device, and we've already got one, so we're going to use that one. Add existing. I'm going to bring this down over to the corner. When you do Facebook Live, when you stream through Facebook Live, there's a little announcement kind of thing. It says live and stuff like that up in the left corner. So you want to make sure when you make your slides, you put stuff in the right-hand corner. Let's see, pastor and slides. We are going to also add the slides, and that is a window capture, and we will call this slides. Oh, we'll call it worship slides. And you see the one that's existing here is the worship table, but we don't want that one, so we're going to do a new one. Okay. Now we have to tell it where to find it. Oh, we've got screen recorders, OBS tutorial, oh dearest Jesus, Good Friday worship service. That's the one we're going to use. Now, when we hit OK, we can see that we have to adjust this. This is not what we want people to see. So you can hit your Alt key with a PC or your Options key with a Mac, and you're going to drag the corners over so that it looks beautiful. And then you're going to do the same thing with these little handles around it. You're going to do the right click and tell it to transform, fit to screen. Oh no, I'm in the corner. Now there are a couple things you can do here. You can either put me on top, and that is just right here with these up and down keys. I can move this up and then I'm on top. Well, okay, honestly, I don't need to be that big. But when there are words that people need to see, I want them to see all of them. So I'm going to click and take this red handle and drag it over, and you see how it just got smaller? Now I can move it over here and take up the rest of the space with moi. So there you go. That is Pastor, or me, and the slides. And when you want to run the slideshow, all you have to run it through PowerPoint. You can't run the slideshow through OBS, so you have to make sure that you click back to PowerPoint. You don't want to make it take up your whole screen. You can just do a piece of it. Let's see, where's mine real quick? Here it is. Now, you can see this, but the OBS recording will not show this. So you have to click here, up, him, absolution. This is how you can see it changing, but you have to do that through PowerPoint. So be careful about that. You're going to figure it out because you're going to make some mistakes, and that, of course, is fine. Let's see what's next. We've got Pastor and slides. We need to do, do we have just slides? No, let's do just slides. And hit OK. Now, I'm going to quick check. This is all well and fine. Now, for just slides, of course, we're just going to do a window capture. And just for the record, once you capture this window, I'm going to add existing worship slides. For each one of these, you're going to want to adjust it for this screen. And then don't move your slides. You can move the window, the whole window, but not the slides. If you move the slides in the program, you will find that it no longer fits to screen. It'll move them around here, and you don't want that. So here we have just the slides. We have Pastor and slides, and we have just the Pastor. What else do we need? We need some hymns. Oh, we have pre-service as well. So we need some hymns, and we need the post-service. So let's add a hymn. I'm going to show you two. The first one is going to be hymn 1. I'll call it opening hymn. And hit OK. And let's see what I've got here. I'm going to add a hymn. And the first one I'm going to do is a video that I downloaded from YouTube using that program that I told you, which is called, again, a YouTube download. And this is going to be a media source. And I'm going to call it hymn 1. Oh, dearest Jesus. That's what it is. I almost couldn't remember that. Now, this is a local file because I downloaded it onto my machine. You know, anytime you download things like this, it works so much better. Let's see. I don't want that. I want, not Palm Sunday, Good Friday videos. Oh, dearest Jesus. I want, oh, this is, oh, Sacred Head. Doggone it. I have words for oh, dearest Jesus. That's all right. I can still show you how. So this is oh, Sacred Head Now Wounded. We don't want this to loop. It says restart playback when source becomes active. That means when we click on this, it'll restart every time. And I also clicked on show nothing when playback ends because I don't want it to loop, or it could close file when active. And I haven't done that yet. I suppose it really doesn't matter. It could do that, but then it takes time to come back up every time. So I'm just going to show nothing when playback ends. Hit OK. And there it is. Oh, Sacred Head Now Wounded. I'm going to transform, fit to screen. Now, well, here's the deal. This one doesn't have any lyrics attached to it. So what would I do? Actually, you may be hearing this. So, okay, we're not going to listen to that. You want to listen to me. I'm going to put this in the middle, and then I am going to show you that we add another one, and we call this a window capture. And we want some slides, but we want this. I'm going to pretend this is "Oh Dearest Jesus" lyrics. I put lyrics up front so that I can see that it's that. Okay. Now I need to find it. So I've got to tell it where to go. What's the window? "Oh Dearest Jesus." There it is. Hit OK. Now, I want to make sure that this is going to be where it should be. First, I'm going to size it. Make sure everything's copacetic there. I haven't used that word in a long time. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back here, and we want, the video is beautiful, but what we really want is to see the words. And there we go. We can see the words, and the video song is playing. I can't hear it because, and I want to hear it. So I'm going to go over to "Oh Dearest Jesus" here. Now I've turned it off. I've muted it, but I would go to Advanced Audio Properties. Here it says Monitor Off. So for "Oh Dearest Jesus," I'm going to turn it on. And then I should be able to hear it. Oh, I can hear it. You can probably hear it better because mine is coming out of my headphones. So, there you go. That is how it works. Then when you click it, you can go from slides to opening hymn, and there, "Oh Dearest Jesus," it's the first verse. It'll start new every time. Okay, opening hymn. Then the closing hymn is a little bit different. I'm going to call it closing hymn. Sometimes instead of opening and closing, I just call it what it is. "Oh Dearest Jesus." This one is, it's a media source. I downloaded it. It's not "Oh Dearest Jesus." It's, oh shoot. I'm going to just call it closing hymn. "Above All." I hope that wasn't too loud for you. Closing hymn is "Above All." I'm going to say OK. It's a local file. There it is. It has words on it. OK. It's probably going to start playing for you guys. I'm going to turn it way down. And I'm going to transform it, fit to screen, and there you go. Now again, I can go from slides to the closing hymn, and it starts new every time. Now, let's see. The one thing that I didn't make sure I had here is for Pastor, you're also going to want to, we've got the video capture, and I can use my computer's microphone. But if you have a separate microphone, you're going to want an audio input capture. You're going to want to have that as well. And that it'll usually tell you which ones you have. I have the mic right here. I'm going to add existing. OK. And then Pastor and slides. You're going to want an audio there too to make sure. Make sure the first time you do this, you test this to see how well you can hear. That will be important for people. All right, the last thing that I have is the post service. And so I'll do post service. Now, every time you do the worship, you pull this up, this program, and it's exactly the same. You don't do a new one. You can't save one and then save another one. So when you do the pastor slides, all of these scenes, you can leave them. And then when you do a new hymn, all you have to do is use the little gear and edit and add a new hymn instead of creating everything new. So here is the post service, and that's a video, which is also a media source. You notice we use those a lot. And then this is Were You There? Video. And I hit OK. And it's a local file. I'm going to browse for it. Pre. Oh, I thought I had more here. Oh, it says all media types. Okay, I'm going to go away. Click, go away. And hit all files. Oh, there we go. When I survey, oh dearest Jesus, above all. Oh, here we go. Post. Open. OK. Fit to screen. Transform. Fit to screen. There we go. Okay, now it's set up. Next, I'm going to show you how to use it. Here we go. We're going to really use this. It's going to be fantastic. I'll show you how to do it. If we look at our scenes over here on the right, I can do the close-up. We've got a lot of scenes. We've got the post service, the opening hymn. These little arrows right here move everything around, and that is fantastic. So what we can do is we will arrange them. Now I have just me, the worship table. I don't need that one anymore. So I could take that off, worship table. That's the little minus. Bye-bye. Then I have OBS, which of course is this crazy screen here. The OBS close-up. I'm going to leave those here. I'm not going to need the OBS. I'm using something else right now, but we're going to figure this out. We've got pre-service, and then we're going to use pastor and slides. So I'm going to take this one and move it up. And then we're going to have opening hymn. So I'm going to take that one and move it up after pastor and slides. Then we'll use pastor and slides again. So we'll go back here. Then we have the readings, and that's just slides. And pastor himself is just used for the sermon, so he'll stay there, and then the closing hymn and the post service. So now we have it in a pretty good order of which we would use it. So let's just say that you are getting ready to do your service. And the first thing you're going to do is have to figure out this streaming business. And we're going to go to a page that we manage, your church page. I am going to go to Carpenter's Ministry Toolbox because that's my page. Now, as soon as it gets there, here it is. I'm going to scroll down here. There's the button. It says live. So I'm going to push that button. It takes a while. There we go. It's going a little quicker, I hope. Okay, maybe not. There it is. The first thing we need to do is have a stream key. That's what we're going to do. So we have to find that stream key, and that is right here. We scroll down. We say copy, and it does copy it. And then we have to come back here and go back to settings and stream, and you see it says stream key. Sorry about the phone. Okay, now we're going to go back, and once we hit, first we hit stream. First we will hit start streaming, and we will be on pre-service. And that's what people will see. Now, when you hit pre-service, make sure that you turn your microphone off. You don't have one set here in sources, but that doesn't mean something might go wrong. If you have desktop audio on, just go ahead and mute whoops, you can't hear me. And mute everything. So you hit start streaming, and then Facebook, you tell it to go live, and then you there you go. You're doing it. Now I'm not going live here. I'm just going to record this. So just show you how to do it. And as you go, when you decide that, okay, this has gone on long enough, we want to start the service, well, then you decide. You want to say hello to everybody first. Then you go over to your scenes and you click on Pastor. And then you see me, okay, or you. But here you see me. And I can say, welcome everybody to this wonderful moment of worship. I have some announcements. I want to welcome you to this church. If you have any friends coming, please let me know. I don't know what you might say when you welcome. Can't really share the piece at this moment. So, but if you're going live, people can comment. And even if it's a recorded video, people can comment and say hello or good morning or hope everybody's doing well or whatever they want to say. So after that is over, you are going to move over to Pastor and Slides. And I am going to really quick go all the way to the beginning. And we're going to have the opening hymn. That's going to be what's on there. And I apologize. With the screencasting, it gets everything. So now we're going to start it when I survey the wondrous cross. And I don't think that's the hymn that I did. But you can leave this sitting right here and go to your opening hymn. And Oh Dearest Jesus starts. They're not surveying the wonder. When I survey anything, they're not surveying. But they should be able to hear this, and they should be able to sing along, and it's wonderful. And then this is where this studio mode might be helpful, because over here in the preview, what are you going to do next? It's the invocation, so you're going to want Pastor and Slides. Why are my slides not showing up there? Where did my slides go? Okay, here we go. So they're singing the hymn, and here's what's coming up next. The opening, or we're going to transition, and it's the slides. So I will go ahead and advance those myself, and then we'll see that's coming. So you can also fade to black and do it that way, or hit transition, or you can just not do studio mode. So now here we are with our slides. We're going to do the invocation. But if we want Pastor and Slides, which we do want, so that we could see when he does the sign of the cross, this is the one we want. So you see, you just kind of rotate in between all of these scenes to do which part of the service you want to. So we would leave it here for the invocation, the confession and absolution. I would move these slides down. I wish I had a bigger screen. And so we could do all of this. I could make it smaller. It just takes a lot of adjustments. So once we get to the confession and absolution, then we're going to want still Pastor and Slides. They can read everything. They can see it. Then for the readings, we're going to do just the slides. So I will get to that point. I'm going to whip over to the gospel here. So here is the gospel, and we're going to switch our scene from Pastor and Slides to Slides. When we want to move to the sermon, we move to the pastor, not the pastor's wife, the pastor. And then we'll move to our closing hymn at the appropriate time, and it will run beautifully. Make sure that you check to make sure that everybody can hear everything. Again, if you can't hear it on your monitor, then go to the little wheel or the gear and do advanced audio properties and double check to make sure that all of these monitors are not off, because when you do above all, you're going to want it to be on. Now, I'm going to mute it so that I don't have it playing over my voice. And then we have post service. And you see how smoothly everything transitions? It's just a beautiful thing. So there you have it. When you're done, you push stop streaming or stop recording, and then you've got it done. Once you've done that, if you go back to Facebook, when you're done, it'll ask you if you want to delete it or if you want to save it. And you will be able to, let me see, if I go, I'm going to go home really quick and then go to my church and show you that if I go to videos for my church, come on, seems to be a little slow. I'm going to scroll, no, not going to scroll. Here they come. All right, if you click on it and make it big like this, up on the top, or wherever you see the 3 dots, you can go to embed. If you don't have any problems with maybe taking music you shouldn't or using something that you shouldn't, copyright issues, it won't let you embed somewhere else. But you can then take the embed code right up here and copy it and then embed it to your website or wherever you need to embed it. So it's pretty darn cool. All right, friends, I think that's about it. I am going to take a moment and say thank you to all of you who have listened. I hope this is helpful. I hope that if you have any questions, you can find me on Facebook, Laura Langhoff Art, and ask a question, or you can come to my website and send me an email, ask a question. I hope this, again, was helpful. Thanks, everyone.